Hey guys, Arani Mathenia here with Eagle Eye Sports, and today I'm sitting with one of Eagle Eye's own parents, Mr. Darius Dowdell. How are you doing today, Coach?
Doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, we know each other, so
Right.
we don't gotta be so formal. So, tell me some things that Eagle Eye has helped with, as far as your son.
Okay. Well, tremendous help came from Eagle Eye because the recruiting process, you got good, bad, and ugly. It's a long process. It can be enjoyable. We had a little rough road. My son Aaron, he's a freshman now at University of Central Florida now. But Eagle Eye pretty much came in and saved the process and made it enjoyable from my point of view. My son's an O-lineman out of Creekside High School. His first offer came from the University of Memphis.
Okay.
And 2 weeks later, he got an offer from the University of Georgia. This was all his junior year, and he was committed to the University of Georgia for a whole year. Mm-hmm. And last year, when Mark Rick was let go, usually when a head coach is let go and you have recruits coming in, it's an unknown factor because these commitments are all verbal until I signed a letter of intent. And that's one of the things about the process parents need to understand. All these informational letters they send, he had stacks of letters from Georgia and several other schools that were interested in him. But his number one school was Georgia. That was his dream school. And he stayed committed to them for a whole year. Even though early in the process we were advised to just not commit so quick, but to just kind of just wait it out. But he had his heart set. That was his number one school, and I said, well, if that's your number one, you sure? Then we go ahead. And from my point of view as a parent, thinking that if we showed that type of dedication to them, that it would be reciprocated to my son. But the bad side was that it wasn't, and parents need to understand that how the process works. It's a verbal, and the verbal is both ways, from the school to the parent and student athlete, and vice versa. Because you see a lot of student athletes who verbally commit somewhere, and a month later they decommit and commit somewhere else. Mm-hmm. It's like a chess game almost. And the process for us, I didn't really want to deal with all that. And my son was the type of kid, he didn't want to deal with that process. He's not a real public, rah-rah kind of kid. He had his heart set on. That's what he worked on. That's what he wanted the results of that. And unfortunately, when the new staff came to the University of Georgia, I guess they saw something they didn't want, or whatever the case may be. And, they stopped answering the phone, basically. And once, and it was probably 3 weeks before signing day in January of this year. And once I found that out, I knew it was something that...
It was crunch time.
Yeah, it was crunch time. But thankfully, Eagle Eye Sports was there to help him. They had not only helped as far as his training, but they were there from training all the way through the complete process. Once we found out, actually it was Martin Luther King weekend, that Monday, on Martin Luther King's birthday. Once we found out that Georgia wasn't going to honor their commitment, we even had a letter of commitment from them. But like I said, even with that letter of commitment, it's still nothing official. It's still verbal. Once we found out they weren't going to honor that commitment, we had to get back out on the circuit. Eagle Eye totally helped with that. It was 7 o'clock that morning when I found out. By 3 o'clock that afternoon, my son had 30 full scholarship offers.
Wow.
Because of Eagle Eye. For schools, Michigan State, Virginia, TCU, California, Florida. These are schools that I've heard of these schools, but I didn't know they were interested in my son. Yes. But because of Eagle Eye, they called me, emailed me, got in contact with the coach or whatever, and they told me they had full scholarship offers. Central Florida was one of the schools, East Carolina was one of the schools, and these in Missouri, and these were schools where the recruiter, they were actually coming to the school, and after that day, and once Eagle Eye put out that he was available, and not to brag, but he was a top recruit, and just the fact that Georgia wasn't interested in him. And one of the things, as a parent, I had to make sure my son knew. Georgia said they don't want you, but guess what? That don't mean that you're not a good athlete.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
I had to first put that in my son's head. I say, things don't always work out the way you plan. But right now, confirmation of that because of Eagle Eye. I was on the phone with him last week, and he said, he's kind of glad he didn't go to Georgia because he would have hated to been in a situation that somebody just kept you just to make their face look good, but didn't really want you because he knew he wouldn't be treated right. Whereas in Central Florida, he felt like he's enjoying it. He's enjoying the whole college experience. Because one of the things I taught both my sons, he's my youngest son, I have an older son that was at East Carolina, that you're a student athlete, so go enjoy the whole college experience. You're not just there to play football. The academic part, the whole college life part, and he's enjoying that now in Central Florida.
I know it's definitely tough. I've been in that situation. Well, my brother was, where he committed to a school, and when they changed the coaching staff, I mean, what can
every year.
What can you tell parents? What advice can you give parents about that? Like, they need to be aware of that can happen.
Well, first of all, parents, get involved in the whole process, not only understanding how it works, but make those connections and get familiar with the coaching staff, and because these are somebody who's going to be working with your child for the next 4 years, helping them develop football-wise and academic-wise.
Definitely.
So once you make that connection with that coaching staff, you get a feel for who truly got your child's best interest at heart, not just for football, but for as a whole. And that was important for me because once Mark Richt left, Thomas Brown left, and McClendon left, there was no coach there that we had that connection with except for Jonas Jennings. But he's not a coach. So, even after that, I really didn't feel Georgia was a place for my son after that because it was no connection there. And the new coaching staff came in, they never even called or reached out. As a parent, I would have felt, because I understand the process and I respect it, for them to just call and say, well, we're no longer interested, just want to let you know. That's all it would have took for me. It would not have been a situation where I was badgering them or anything like that. And I didn't waste my time doing that. With the help of Eagle Eye, we just, picked up, got his name out, just to let recruiters know that, hey, if you have the scholarships available, he's available. And, some of the schools that were interested in him before, because it was so late in the process, didn't have the scholarships available. I talked to one school that really wanted him. I won't say the school name, but the coach actually said that he was better than 3 O-linemen they were bringing in.
Wow.
But because these O-linemen had already committed, they committed to them, they didn't want to, really take a scholarship from somebody like that. And I told him, I said, I totally respect that, and I appreciate you just saying that because I understand how it works. And, but just to hear that, I had to make sure he heard that because I kind of was afraid that he was kind of starting to doubt himself because Georgia being his number 1 school, he stayed committed for a whole year. And, just to be pretty much dropped the way they dropped him, but thanks to Eagle Eye, the training kept going and the mentoring, the aspect of it, that really helped because, he'll get the encouragement from me, but when he hears it from somebody else, I think it kind of boosts him up a little more, because he hears it from me all the time, so I think my words kind of fall on deaf ears, but thanks to Eagle Eye, it was, with the training and the mentoring, it really helped him to make that jump to the next level.
Definitely, Coach. I know that can be rough, especially on parents. Do you feel like Eagle Eye keeps the parents engaged also?
I think so. Not just as far as how to walk and teaching the process, but just as far as keeping you informed, just let you know who is where, because just let it be known, Eagle Eye, they do more than just training. They actually go above and beyond. I think they, with the mentoring and truly having connections and relationships with different schools. which can open a door that you didn't even know could be open. So,
Yes, sir. I agree, definitely. Tell me something to wrap up this, that you want all parents to really focus in on when dealing with a student athlete and dealing with the process that you had to go through. Like you said, your son, he was committed for a whole year, and you had to deal with the emotional aspect of it. Not only being able to, you had to motivate your son, letting him know like it's not you. It's the school, it's the coaching that they brought in. You know, what's something that you want parents to really zero in, like focus in on about their student athletes?
Well, two things actually. Number one, make sure your student athlete don't get caught up in the school being SEC or ACC. That doesn't matter. If it's a school that's going to offer a full scholarship, that means more than what conference the school is in. I see a lot of athletes, they really get caught up in the flash of a school. You see a lot of schools now with new uniforms, helmets that really flashy, and it gets their attention. And you know, some of the boys, they want to look good, and they think they look good, they're gonna play good. But you got to really, parents, find a school that fits your child. You know your child better than that coach, okay? Because they just started recruiting your child. You know your child. One of the things I did with my son when we went on the visits, and when we went on the visit, I didn't ask any football questions. I asked questions about academic support, nutritional support, things of that nature. The football questions, they were obvious. You know, I did my research before I went to the school anyway. I researched the coaching staff, their background, where they came from, and things of that nature. So parents, it's an investment on your part because you help them invest in your child. Just like one coach told my son that once he offered that full scholarship, they're investing in my child. And it made it sound like it was a business, and it is a business. They're investing in your child. So your child needs to invest in itself and take ownership of that. Because it's a full paid scholarship. Because to me, it sounds great as a parent to hear my child could get a college degree, paid for, graduate with no student loans.
Yes.
In my eye, that's a great idea.
I definitely agree. Well, thank you, Coach. It's Arani Mathinya here with Eagle Eye Sports.